Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2020-21 season. My name is Dan and today we're doing a Game Week 3 team selection video as well as looking at my scores from Game Week 2. I warn you, there's a lot to talk about. But I am going to try and keep this a little bit brief. But yeah, let's see how we go. So, I think let's just jump straight into it because, yeah, like I said, there's quite a lot. So, right, here we have my beautiful animated pitch with all the wonderful players on. I know a lot of you ask, like, what app is it that I'm using here on screen that you're seeing right now on screen? But there's no app, there's no, I've not downloaded anything. Everything you see on screen has been designed and animated by yours truly. So yeah, you can't. It's not something you can find anywhere. But yeah, the first thing you may have noticed whilst I was just talking there is, and let's just say a less impressive score than you might hope. So yeah, a game week score of only 48 and an overall rank drop. Quite a significant drop. I dropped around a million places, so I'm still above average in the overall rank. But I mean, that's not where we want to be. We don't want to be above average. We want to be sort of at the very, very top. And yeah, so it's not been a good score. Obviously, not having sort of Kane and not having Son and all the other big hitting players, Calvert-Lewin, for example, Richarlison, this, that, and the other. Bamford scored really highly as well. I didn't have any of these players, and it's sort of been a really, really unpredictable week, which is sort of really tough for me because I'm basing this whole channel around trying to make good predictions, and when a week is so unpredictable, I'm sort of fighting a losing battle. But typically speaking, not every game week will be like this. We're in game week 2, so it's not time to panic. There are changes that I need to make in my team, which we're going to go over. But I've always been very clear that this is my FPL game is very much a long-term strategy. The whole FPL game is about sort of a long-term strategy, patience. Anyone, or not anyone, but it's fairly easy to set up a team for the first few game weeks, but it's how you manage your team going forward, which is really what defines where you will finish off at the end of the season. So yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I am disappointed with my start. I wish I could have started a little bit better than I have. But at the same time, I'm not going to beat myself up too much because I think there's no decision I've made where I look back and think, oh, actually, that was an awful decision. Like selling Son for Bruno Fernandes, nobody thought Son would get 4 goals. Nobody thought Bruno Fernandes and Manchester United would start so bad. So the predictions were based on some fairly decent logic and a little bit of unpredictability. But that's what the beginning of the season, early season, is all about. Is always a little bit unpredictable. And as the season goes on, we'll start to pick it up a little bit and we'll start to get more points. But let's run through quickly. So Ryan obviously got a nice clean sheet. Trent Alexander-Arnold bounced back after a poor game week 1. Perhaps he can continue that going forward. Ayling a little bit disappointed to only get 1 point against Fulham. I thought there was potential for Leeds to keep a clean sheet there, or Ayling to get maybe some kind of goal contributions, but that wasn't to be. Kyle Walker-Peters again looks actually really good going forward. Got the assist, of course, but Southampton just so bad defensively, set up completely in the wrong way against Tottenham. And even though Southampton probably looked like the better team, their high line defensively allowed Tottenham to exploit them and counter-attack and pretty much score in every shot they took. Whereas Southampton had far more shots, far more chances, but were far less clinical. But we won't dwell on that too much right now, talking about Kyle Walker-Peters. Salah did his usual swap with Mane as who's going to haul this game week. So, yeah, next week perhaps it'll be Salah. Aubameyang captain, it was really disappointing, to be honest. So everyone thought West Ham were going to be rubbish, Arsenal were going to be really good, but Arsenal completely lacked any creativity in that game. Aubameyang was really pushed really far wide. So, it's made it a lot easier to decide who to transfer out for a Man City player, I'll tell you that. But really disappointed for Aubameyang because I think we all expected a lot more, all of us. So, but again, there's no point in dwelling on it. The decision was made in good faith. Everyone, there was a lot of logic behind thinking Aubameyang would do well. It wasn't to be. Let's move on. Bruno Fernandes again, really, really appalling. Well, not appalling, but it wasn't up to scratch, was he, in his first game? But maybe game week 2, they've played midweek. Bruno's already got an assist in midweek in the League Cup. Perhaps he'll regain a little bit of form. Manchester United in general will regain a little bit of form and things can go better. And Saint-Maximin, of course, got injured, so another bit of bad luck there. Timo Werner looked lively, but, Liverpool's a very tough game. And as soon as Chelsea went down to 10 men, it became really tough for Chelsea. So, Yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess I don't know if I want to consider myself unlucky there. It was a tough game anyway. I didn't expect too much from Werner. Mitrovic, I guess, was kind of lucky in a sense. I didn't think he'd get 13 points, but he did. Getting a few goal contributions there against Leeds. So, yeah, I mean, I suppose I was fairly happy with that. This is one of the few saving graces of this team. And then Che Adams, I don't know whether to be disappointed or excited, just because he had so many chances to score, and he's just not clinical. He's in all of the right positions. He tees himself up to score these goals. He gets so many good chances. In fact, there is no other player in the Premier League that has had more big chances than Che Adams. That's a stat. And also, Che Adams has the fourth highest expected goal involvement. Expected goals, non-penalties of all players in the Premier League. So he's sort of competing with like Son and who else scored a few goals? Maybe Bamford. I can't remember who else is up there. He's above like Jimenez. So really, when you look at the list of highest expected goals, non-penalties, Adams sticks out like a sore thumb because he's right high up the list, but he's the only one out of like the top 10 who hasn't actually scored yet. All the other guys have scored 4 goals, 3 goals, 2 goals. So yeah, you feel like goals are imminent, and perhaps you can, if you are an Adams owner, you can perhaps consider yourself a little bit unlucky. But it's a case of, when does the patience run out? You can get yourself in as many positions as you like. If you can't finish it, then that's no good. But you expect that eventually Adams will finish it. By law of averages, one of these chances will be finished. And yeah, I do have the concern that as soon as I take Adams out of my team, I'm going to get punished. And Adams will finally score. Plus, we'll talk about that in my team selection video, because there's stuff to talk about. Obviously, after a game week score of 48, you have to. I want to be patient. I do want to be patient. I don't want to make rash decisions, but I don't want to be complacent, and I do want to make some changes to my teams. So let's go into that. Okay, so going into my game week 3 team, I'm going to start off with Matt Ryan in goal. Set and forget, not very much to talk about. He plays against Manchester United. If Manchester United are as bad as they were last week, I suppose he could actually do all right. But, I do think Manchester United will bounce back here. I don't think they're going to be permanently bad or anything like that. So, yeah, I am expecting Ryan to concede goals, but if he can get a couple of save points, he's set and forget. Who cares? Trent Alexander-Arnold, again, he's very much a set and forget player. I'm not going to be changing him out of my team at all. So yeah, maybe he gets an assist or something against Arsenal. Maybe he even gets a clean sheet. I'm not sure. Liverpool are at home, which is quite nice. If you are a Liverpool owner, that's pretty nice. So yeah, he'll just get as many points as he gets. We'll see. I'm not expecting a massive haul, but again, a massive haul could very easily happen. So we'll see what happens with Trent. He's always good for a few points, isn't he? Reece James in defence as well. He's playing against West Brom Albion. I quite like Reece James just because he started the first game, which is a very pleasant surprise. He then started the second game, which was like sort of, oh, okay, so maybe Reece James is permanently replacing Azpilicueta as Chelsea's right back. In which case, 5 million or 5.1 as he is now is such a bargain for Reece James, because he gets so far up the pitch, he gets so many chances. He's now got a game against West Bromwich Albion, who, a very good chance that he gets a clean sheet there, especially now that Ben Chilwell's going to be back, maybe Thiago Silva's going to be back, Chelsea got a new goalkeeper, so there could be clean sheets there, but there also could very, very feasibly be attacking returns. So James might make a mockery of that price tag if he is to be the player who is staying in the team long term. So let's move on anyway to Ayling against Sheffield United. Now, I know Ayling has been a little bit disappointing so far. Didn't expect anything against Leeds in the first game. In the second, even though he could have easily had an assist in the first game, in the second game, I didn't expect Fulham to score so many goals. Maybe Leeds are a bit gung-ho. But I really like this game against Sheffield United, because Sheffield United haven't actually scored a single goal yet this season, and they haven't particularly looked like they're going to score either, other than obviously a penalty, which they didn't score the penalty last game week. But yeah, I feel just because Sheffield United are sort of in second season syndrome mode, not scoring goals, not being particularly good going forward, Ayling, I do think he has attacking returns in him, and surely there is potential for Leeds to get some clean sheets. They had a really good clean sheet record last season in the Championship, so why can't they bring it over to the Premier League, especially against a team like Sheffield United, who won't bother them too much in attack. So yeah, I do like having Ayling in my team. So far is what I'm saying is so far there is no changes I need to make in my team. So far we're pretty good, and this is why I'm not going like, oh my god, I need to wildcard. I don't think I do. But we'll move further on the pitch. So Salah, he's up against Arsenal. Again, Salah is a fairly set and forget player. He will pick up points, won't he? Perhaps it's his turn to go on a haul after Mane had his haul last week. Arsenal have been a little bit defensively frail in the past. West Ham had a lot of chances against Arsenal at last game week. A lot of chances. West Ham were arguably the better team in that game. So you would feel like Liverpool might punish Arsenal in a way that West Ham were not quite able to do. And a player like Salah, like I always say, Salah takes so many shots. He's on penalties. He's really hungry. He really wants to score goals constantly. All he wants to do is shoot, which is really good from an FPL point of view. Although Salah does have a little bit of assist potential as well there, which is quite nice. But yeah, I think there's good potential for points there, but Salah very much a long-term option. Aubameyang, okay, this is where things get a little bit disappointing. So he's got a game against Liverpool away as well, and his fixtures don't get any better over the next 5 really. He's got 5 very poor fixtures, if I'm perfectly honest. He looked really isolated on the wide areas against West Ham. There was no creativity in that Arsenal team, so in that sense it's sort of like, I think this is a problem area, and I feel like I have to think about moving on Aubameyang because he's 12 million. That's so much money. You can get so much for 12 million. And over a bad run of fixtures where I'm not confident in Arsenal's creative abilities, and Aubameyang's been shifted very wide, not getting as many chances as I would hope he would, then yeah, this is cause for concern. But we'll move on and we'll come back to that. So Bruno Fernandes, yes, very average first game week back, but got an assist midweek. He's only against Brighton. Brighton are not exactly known for their defensive qualities, or even though they did keep a clean sheet sort of during the week, or during last week. But I do think eventually Bruno is going to come good, and I do think there's a very good chance of it happening this week. You know, it only takes a penalty, it only takes a free kick in a dangerous area of the pitch, it only takes a corner that he takes, and then suddenly he's getting points. So he doesn't even need to be on form to get points because he has so many opportunities elsewhere. So I'm not too worried. I'm not going to panic about getting Bruno out because I do think he's going to come good. But moving on to Maximin, and again, this is a slightly disappointing because obviously he hasn't been in great form. Obviously, he's also picked up a knock there, and we don't know 100% if he's going to be starting against Tottenham. Tottenham not a particularly good fixture either. So, yeah, Alain Saint-Maximin is another player that I sort of have to consider moving on. There's another weakness in my team, if you like. But moving on to the forwards, we've got Werner against West Brom. I know a lot of people are selling Werner right now, which is absolutely crazy talk. You don't sell a player against when they're just about to play West Brom. I know I said that in my video yesterday. I talked a lot about Werner in my video yesterday about how you should not sell him this game week. It's just not the time to sell him. Obviously, West Brom conceded 3 goals in their first match, 5 goals in their second match. That was against Leicester and Everton, Leicester then Everton, and you know Chelsea, you would say, have more going forward, and you feel like Werner is the kind of player who might have a few goals, maybe an assist in him in a game like this, which is a lot tamer for him. He's not been bad, he's not played bad, but you know it's just been a slightly tough start. He played against the champions, he's played his very first game in the Premier League. You have to manage your expectations a little bit, but now is the kind of time where I think, okay, now it's time to perform, Werner. You've had your couple of weeks to settle in. It's time to perform, and if he doesn't, then obviously, of course, we can think about taking him out. But West Brom is such a good fixture because they really are struggling defensively. Where Chelsea, Werner, there's gonna be goals, there's gonna be assists for Reece James as well. So. Yeah, no chance he's going anywhere from a team. So I hope by now you're sort of seeing why I'm not thinking of wildcarding, because there's so many positives to be taken. Mitrovic, I don't think we're ever thinking about taking out Mitrovic. He plays really well against Leeds, getting amongst the goals and stuff. He's playing against Aston Villa. Aston Villa, they played one game, they kept a clean sheet. It was against Sheffield United, but perhaps Fulham offer a little bit more going forwards. They do want to score goals, don't they? And this is the kind of game that Fulham will be really wanting to win if they are to stand a chance of staying in the Premier League. Well, I know we're talking very long term now, but they need to beat the teams sort of around them, which Aston Villa, you would say, is one of those teams. So they will really be looking for that win. They're playing at home. So yeah, hopefully there's going to be goals in that, and hopefully Mitrovic can get on the end of them. And then finally, Che Adams. I guess he would be the third most likely guy to get transferred out of my team right now. I've sort of explained why, but I've also sort of explained that he is due a goal, isn't he? And it only takes one more chance and him to hit it's like sort of half an inch to the left or to the right, and he will literally score a goal because he's getting so many chances. Burnley actually gave up a lot of chances in their first game against Leicester, hence the huge scoreline. So Burnley perhaps not quite the defensive giants they were last season, or at least not yet. Perhaps they're going to take a couple of weeks to bed it back into their usual defensive ways. Let's see, I suppose. They have got a couple of injuries, haven't they? But yeah, I do think Adams is not a priority transfer at all, really, just because he's due a goal. He's due a goal. And, you know, as soon as I sell him, he will score. So maybe you guys watching this video should, if you have Adams, wait till I sell him, then keep him for that one extra week, because that'll be the time that he'll score. But anyway, let's think about some transfers, because there are transfers to be made. I think we can all agree with that. Yeah, I mean, if you guys follow me on Twitter, you'll already know one of my transfers, because I have made two. I've taken a -4 hit. I'll warn you now. My first transfer, of course, if you follow me on Twitter at FPL Mate, all one word, at FPL Mate. Just go on Twitter, follow me on there. You know that you can get this information nice and quickly. So yeah, let's just show you the transfer. So here we go. Here are the transfers. I swapped Aubameyang for De Bruyne and Alan Saint-Maximin for Daniel Podence. This probably is not massively surprising, considering yesterday I talked about the players that I would want to be targeting, and I said the two players I was targeting were De Bruyne and Podence, and therefore these are the exact players that I have targeted, and they're the exact players I have brought in. If you want full details as to why I've brought them in, then I recommend you go check out my video from yesterday. It's a really helpful video for helping you decide what transfers to make to progress your team. But yeah, De Bruyne, he played really well. He proved why he's so good. I think I kind of half forgot just how good De Bruyne is, especially when he plays in that advanced position. And now David Silva has left the club. It looks like Bruno is going to be the main number 10 with sort of defensive midfielders playing behind him. This is going to give him so much more license for creativity, and it's going to allow him to get hauls pretty much every game week, and particularly in the games against weaker teams. De Bruyne, if he plays as the singular attacking midfielder, then he's going to have some real holes in him, and I think he could become FPL absolute gold as long as he is continuously playing that attacking midfielder position on his own with no other attacking midfield player beside him. He's going to be absolutely mad. And of course he's on penalties, of course he's on set pieces. There's so many opportunities to get goals and stuff from De Bruyne, so really, really good player to have in. And such, I think he's, especially with Aubameyang's poor fixtures, I think De Bruyne is such an upgrade on Aubameyang, even though he costs less money. I did buy De Bruyne in at 11.5 million before he rose in price, and perhaps you caught that, perhaps you didn't. So yeah, I did tell you guys on Twitter, but perhaps you didn't follow that. But yes, so yeah, I've got De Bruyne. He's added a little bit to my team value, of course. So yeah, that's all good. That's all good. And then Podence, again, it's sort of because Diogo Jota has left Wolves to Liverpool. That sort of makes Podence the main first name on the team sheet, kind of winger, I guess. He played really well so far. He's got 2 assists in 2 games. He's creating a lot of chances as well, and he just looks like a really good player as well, which is so positive. I know a lot of people are saying, okay, maybe Adama Traore is now going to move to the wing position. Where does that leave Podence? Well, I say that leaves Podence just fine, and it actually threatens Neto. So Neto is going to be the guy whose position will be compromised there. And of course, Podence is a real differential there as well. 3.4% ownership. That's rising by the minute, so I do expect Podence will raise in price fairly soon, just because a lot of people are bringing him in. He was only at sort of 2-point-something% yesterday when I did first bring him in, but he hasn't risen in price yet, so you've still got time to get him in before the price rise. So yeah, that's sort of how I'm lining up. On the bench, Walton, Kyle Walker-Peters, Burke, Ferguson, as you can see there. Kyle Walker-Peters is probably the only player I would consider starting. Burke, I'm not quite convinced yet. It was nice for him to get a start. It was nice for him to look fairly lively, but I don't trust Sheffield United quite yet. But we'll see what happens there. He's just a wait and see, and we'll see if he comes good. Yeah, Kyle Walker-Peters, just because Southampton defensively have just not been up to scratch. So I don't trust them even against Burnley, and it is an away game, and I prefer to have Ayling there against Sheffield United. That's my decision there. For our captain, I think it's pretty obvious. I got to go for De Bruyne up against Leicester. Leicester actually not started fantastically. De Bruyne has started fantastically, and then Timo Werner, I've got my vice captain on at the moment. Just because he's playing against West Brom, and West Brom struggling defensively, so there could be a few goals in there for Werner. But yeah, De Bruyne is just more reliable as a captain, in my opinion, so that's why I've gone for him. But I will talk about more in detail my captaincy choices and who my favourite captains are on Friday's captain videos. I'll go through it in full details and I'll make my final decision there as well, I suppose. But yeah, there you go. There is my team. Hopefully we can really push on. My team, actually, when you look at it now, it sort of seems far better set up for this game week. You look at this team for this game week and you think, yeah, actually, that's a really good team for this game week. So I'm not really too worried. I know I've not got a great rank so far, but this team looks like, on paper, like it's going to score really well. So unless we get another really unpredictable game week where sort of, I don't know, Charlie Taylor scores 5 goals and, I don't know, Nick Pope gets a hat-trick of assists, something crazy like that obviously does swing things. I think we'll do okay. So here's to no more unpredictable weeks. As fun as it was, it's not great for me, who's playing a very predictable game of predictions, I suppose. So yeah, fingers crossed we can do a lot better this week. And there you go. There you have it. There's my team. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys are new around here, please do consider subscribing. New videos pretty much every single day during the week, and then sort of reaction streams as well to game week. And we just talk about fantasy football because it's what we all love. So yes, plenty more videos to come this week. I think I'm going to do a wild card related video to try and help you guys with your wild cards. I know a few of you are activating those wild cards, which is fine, which is cool. I'll try and help you out there. And of course, we've got the captain video on Friday as well. So that is what's to come up. Please do like the video. Please do subscribe, as I say. Please do check the description if you want to follow my Twitter, Instagram, support me on Patreon, join my mini league. All of the stuff is in the description. All the links in the description. Go check them out. And aside from that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.